I'm holding up a piece of paper because I thought before I start the video proper, I just wanted to do a shout out to someone who very often holds up pieces of paper. Mike, MGK Boston over there in not Boston, but in Buffalo. I wanted to do a shout out and congratulate him on finally getting into their new, him and his wife getting into their new home there in Buffalo. It's been a minute. How long is it now? Since coming up on a year now since they moved up to Buffalo from Boston, and getting into the new house has seemingly taken a while. But we just got a video now recently showing some major progress, and the wonderful Colton, the beautiful Colton, that ginger cat will. How long does it take before a cat understands a new place is their new home? I wonder sometimes. Yeah. Shout out to Mike. Head on over to his channel. Say hi from me. Give him a sub if you're watching my channel. You're probably already a Mike aficionado. Because I will always remember last year I got an Evite, I think it's called. It's a year and a half now probably. Saying I was welcome to come and visit them for the vinyl community meet up there when they were still living in Boston, and I thought that was really nice. I guess we're probably about 3 years away from me ever being able to land safely in the United States. Maybe I could stand on the other shore of the lake there on the Canadian side and say, sorry, eh? Anyway, guys, head on over to Mike's channel, and hi, Mike. Hi, everyone. Morten Aastad here. Welcome to my channel. In 1996, a group of Scottish musicians from St. Andrews started a band, and I didn't know. And then came the year 2000, and I was in love, and I got a visit from Australia. And she and I hit it off, I thought. And a couple of months later, after she went back to Australia from Denmark, where I was living at the time, went to stay with her in Australia to see how it all would work out. And I was going to be in Australia for over 2 months. And 3 days into the stay, she broke up with me. So, what do? Well, you can stay here. Which meant mostly she locked her with her son in his room, and we all tiptoed on broken glass. So, of course, I tried to experience Sydney and went around and went outside of Sydney, but I also went to the movies a lot. And one movie in particular caught my eye because it starred one of my all-time favorite actors, probably my favorite actor of my generation, John Cusack. And, being a teenager, drinking some beers and watching Better Off Dead, that's a fun memory. And then when I went to film college in Denmark, I remember this film came around. So this would have been 96 or 97. Gross Point Blank. Or of course, I immediately fell in love with Minnie Driver. Another amazing film. And then he did a film based on a book, and we were all a little worried because it was going to take place in it was going to take place in the US and in Chicago instead of London, where the book had taken place. And the movie was, of course, High Fidelity, which is one of my favorite films of all time. And it also stars a woman I've been in love with since I first saw her in the 90s in a film, the wonderful Danish Iben Hjejle. And what was I going to say? I have a list of my favorite films from each decade. From the 1940s up until the 2010s. I don't really know if I have a favorite film from this decade, to be honest, because I think a lot of the films being made now are near garbage, and no one will let John Cusack play in any good movies anymore. So from the 1940s, it's The Secret Life of Walter Mitty. The 1950s is Mon Oncle by Jacques Tati. The 1960s, it's The Apartment with one of my all-time favorite actors, Jack Lemmon, of course. My dad and I loved watching Jack Lemmon films. The 1970s, it's Manhattan by Woody Allen. And the 1980s, it is, of course, Back to the Future. And the 1990s, it's True Romance with another one of my, from my generation heroes, Christian Slater. And the 2000s, it's High Fidelity, although it came out in 2000. I never saw another film in the 2000 that could best this. And then in the 2010s, it's one of Wes Anderson's films. I kind of, it's either Moonlight or it's Grand Budapest. Yeah, it's Grand Budapest Hotel, yeah. So while I'm watching this wonderful film, there is that scene.
We now sell 5 copies of the 3 EPs by the Beta Band. Good.
So, there you have it, unless YouTube, of course, somehow made it impossible for you to watch that. That was the Beta Band. And as soon as I had spent a few thousand kroner on changing my ticket to go back to Denmark a month earlier, because, your heart is broken and you're in one of the most wonderful countries in the world, but you're feeling like you're, outstayed your welcome. I very quickly went home to Norway as well. I was still living in Denmark, but I needed to see some people and be comforted. Did I? I don't know. And I went out and I got this one where that song and those 3 EPs came from, and I found out that they had released a studio album. When was this? Wasn't this 98? No, this was 97, and then their first studio album came out in 1998, and apparently it was pretty much hated by everyone, including the members of the band. So in, was this 2000? 2001, they sort of struck back with this great album. By the way, I don't hate this album. I think it's great. And then we got Heroes to Zeros, and then they put it in. That was it. no more beta band. And it's funny, you sit down and you read up on a band just before making one of these videos when you learn that they actually reformed this year and are touring and playing the 3 EPs in full. So that's kind of fun, which may also explain this. Yes, I got the beta band's 3 EPs on the brand new reissued vinyl over at ordered it from and picked it up from Big Dipper here in Oslo, our wonderful record shop. The beta band, the 3 EPs, the remastered 180 gram heavyweight double vinyl. And it's been a few days since I got this, and I didn't want to just open it without opening it with you guys, so finally I'm doing this now. This is something I wanted on vinyl for a long time, guys. Because it's not just, you know, that there's this great music, but it's... Because despite it all, I have very fond memories of High Fidelity and seeing the film for the first time. And wish I had this on Blu-ray. Why don't I? And was it last year I showed you guys? I got the High Fidelity. That was a record store day release. Yeah, I got a High Fidelity soundtrack on vinyl as well. So my hero, John Cusack. And there's a close-up of the hype sticker for your perusal. No. And there is the wonderful record. Without the shrink wrap. So it is unfortunately not the gatefold. I don't know how they would have. Maybe they could have put the inner sleeve artwork in a gatefold instead. I don't know, because I mean it wasn't particularly cheap or anything. I think this was 549 Norwegian kroner, so that would be $55 US. So let's check out the inner sleeves artwork, and you know, this would be the original artwork of the individual EPs, which were, you know, 3, hence the name. And then this is some additional artwork. And we have the label art. And this label art was on the CD. In fact, this was the CD. So, I think you could tell that this is a record that is very special to me. And I'm very excited to finally have it on vinyl. I've gotten a few vinyls lately that I've had on CDs for many years and finally gotten on vinyl, and like The Loss and some other albums. And Also been getting a couple of stereophonics, so you'll probably see those popping up soon, and you know, getting my not replacing but adding my Pavement studio album collection is now complete on vinyl, and it's been such a wonderful, because you know, you might think I just buy records and it's the thrill of that, but it's some of these records never heard them on vinyl. Some of the records I had on vinyl many years ago, but they've been lost, because some of them I lost in moves, and some of them I lost when my house was burgled in Denmark. But it's funny because, you know, my memory of this the 3 EPs is of course of Rob in the movie taking out the CD. Is it the only time we see a CD in that film? And putting it on, and you know, the crowd going so I guess I didn't have a vinyl connection to it as such, but there's just something, and some albums and some records and some music, when you take the CD out, you think, because of the way we are in our vinyl community and everything, we think, oh God, I wish I could put this on my record player, and now I can, and I'll look forward to that. So pretty big deal for me. So it wasn't a band that lasted very long, and but yet they've always had a very special place in my heart because of that experience. How many times did I see High Fidelity while I was in Sydney, you ask? Well, I don't want you to think I'm crazy. I was just heartbroken, and I didn't want to go back to her place. I saw it 7 times. Yeah, 7 times a Rooney. I threw some coinage at that film over there, and watching the mighty John Cusack and the lovely, wonderful, beautiful Iben Yael. Oh God, yeah. Well, what was that? I hope you enjoyed my video. Please click like, that helps my channel. If you want to join, subscribe, well, that makes me happy. And I hope to see you guys soon in another video. Bye bye.